Hello all, and thank you for listening to Mr. Laxton's video on these Algebra 2 Section 1.4 notes, where today we are rewriting equations and formulas. Alright, so there's really not a whole lot different between Section 1.3 and 1.4. It's just now Section 1.4, we have more than one variable. So we're just going to solve for that variable, and we're going to move around all the other variables just like we move around numbers and different things like that. We can add them, we can subtract them, we can multiply them and divide them to the other sides. Alright, so there's not a whole lot different. It's just now you're not solving for like x equals 3. Now your answer is going to be like x equals 4y plus 7 or something like that. All right, so here we go. For my first example, we have given the equation 4x plus 2y equals 6. Find the value for y when x equals all of these numbers. Okay, and to be honest with you here, you can just go 4 times 2 plus 2y is equal to 6, and you can go through and solve this guy for y. Like you could take 4 times 2 and that gives you 8, and then you could subtract 8 to both sides, and you can divide by 2. That's going to give you the value of y when x equals those things, which is fine, but it's a little bit easier and it's a little bit quicker when you're doing a bunch of these ones if you actually just solve the equation for y first. Okay, so now, and I'm going to get y in terms of x. So now if I have 2y equals 6, I want to get y all by itself. I kind of like to circle that letter sometimes. I'm going to subtract the 4x over to the other side, just like I would subtract a 7 over or subtract a 13. It doesn't matter. This goes away and goes the other side. So now I have 2y is equal to negative 4x plus 6. This is a positive 6, so there goes a plus in between there. You could go 6 minus 4x. It's going to be the same thing, except for when we get into some graphing, you kind of get into a habit, like I have, of putting the x's first. Don't have to. All right, so now my last thing to get y all by itself, if I have 2 times y, I got to undo division by, or undo multiplication by dividing. So now I divide these guys. So now I get y is equal to, and then now every term can be divided by 2. So negative 4x divided by 2 is negative 2x. And 6 divided by 2 is 3. So I have y equals negative 2x plus 3. All right, so that's what my equation is in terms of y equals and in terms of x. So now when I'm trying to find out what y equals when x equals 2, I can go y equals negative 2 times 2 plus 3. So now I just go through and plug these guys in. This is going to be negative 4 plus 3. And negative 4 plus 3 is going to be negative 1. So that's my first answer there. So now I keep on going, and it's actually pretty quick, pretty easy now, is that y equals negative 2 times negative 3 plus 3. So negative 2 times negative 3 is positive 6 plus 3 is 9. All right, so it's a little bit quicker, a little bit easier this way. You don't have to divide things to the other side. You kind of already took up all that work before. So now if I have y equals negative 2 times 5 plus 3, negative 2 times 5 is negative 10 plus 3. Negative 10 plus 3 is negative 7. All right, so a little bit quicker, a little bit easier, and there's a lot of real life applications for these things when, I don't know, say an engineer is trying to maximize the area of something. If we look at this next area of a triangle, they can solve for a different letter like H, so they can kind of move around some things with their B so they can get a higher area or different things like that. All right, so there's a lot of real life applications. But here we go. The first one is now we're trying to solve the area of a triangle equation for h. So area of a triangle is area equals 1/2 base times height. But now I want to try to get it with h equals. Okay, and the way that I do this is that this is all multiplication, so I could divide all this stuff to the other side. I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal first to get that fraction out of there. So now I multiply by 2 over 1. So now I have 2a is equal to b times h. And then now to get h all by itself, I have b times h, so undo multiplication with division. So now just none of these things can simplify, none of them can change. So now my answer is just 2a over b is equal to h. That's my answer. All right. So a lot of times it's even a little bit easier because you don't have to add, subtract, divide things together, or actually adding, subtracting these numbers. You can just divide that thing over and just kind of leave it most of the time. Okay, so here we go. I have to solve for the area of a trapezoid for B1. So I have to get B1 all by itself. Okay, and again here, if I notice that 1/2 is being multiplied by everything over there, so I have multiplied by the reciprocal, so I multiply by 2 over 1. So now I have 2a is equal to, these guys go away, so now I have h times b1 plus b2. Okay, so don't distribute that h, don't do anything with it. We have to get the b1 all by itself, so I want to get everything away from that. So now I undo this multiplication with the division. All right, so I have 2a over h is equal to b1 plus b2. Notice that there's not anything outside of those parentheses now, so I can kind of just drop them. All right, and then now I have to get b1 all by itself, so how do I get rid of this whole guy over here? I subtract by b2. All right, so I subtract b2. So now here my answer, kind of ran out of room here, 2a over h minus b2 is equal to b1. All right. Awesome. Good. All right, here we go. And solve for C instead of F. So we have the Fahrenheit and Celsius kind of deal here. Fahrenheit equals 9/5 times Celsius plus 32. So the way that I solve for C is I have to subtract this 32. I got to subtract the 32. So I have F minus 32 is equal to 9 over 5 C. All right, and now again, you get rid of that multiplication with division, but I like to, with fractions, I like to multiply by the reciprocal, because the 5 cancels out with the 5, the 9 cancels out with the 9, so I just left with C. All right, but now I got to make sure I multiply 5 over 9 to everything over here. Okay, so it's not just being multiplied by the F, it's not just being multiplied by the negative 32, it's everything. So, this is a 9 here. So now I have 5 over 9, and then F minus 32 in parentheses is what I'm multiplying that by. All right, so now Celsius is equal to Fahrenheit minus 32 times 5 over 9. All right, so again, 1.4 section for Algebra 2, not a whole lot different. We're still solving for a variable. You're still moving things around, multiplication, addition, but now we have more than one variable. So you're going to move like that B1 or the B2 or the H or whatever it might be. You're going to move that to the other side by addition, subtraction, multiplication, whatever you do to undo it. All right. So do me a favor, get started on your homework, see what you can find. Any questions, please come find me. I would be more than welcome to help. Thank you for listening again, and we'll see y'all later.